Hey everybody, it's George again. Welcome back to the page. I'm putting the kraut that I made the other day into my jars, and I thought I'd bring you along. Let's see how I do it. It's very simple. You just literally take it out of the bucket, put it in a jar, make sure it's covered with water, and put a lid on it, and just put it in a cool, dark place. And it's not mine doesn't work like it's done most of the working in the bucket, but it will work a little bit. But this is why these lids are clean, but I have some that's got rust on them, which means they were used for kraut before. I washed them and cleaned them, and I will use these on kraut every time because kraut does eat your cannon lids up, the salt and stuff in it. So I try to reuse them, and I use these little plastic lids like comes on mayonnaise, and I think that was a fermenting lid. You had a screen in it, and or a sprouting lid. You put a on top of a jar to sprout seeds and stuff. But I'm gonna use it for kraut. Now, on my cannon flats, I wash these cannon flats clean as they can be. Uh, they are used, but kraut does not seal, so you don't have to worry about it if it's going to seal, as long as your lids are clean. And I mean clean. I put them in a. They was cleaned with vinegar and water and soap, and I just save them and reuse them for things that don't have to seal. Okay, I got my funnel, I got a pair of tongs, and I got this little dipper so I can reach down in the bucket and get juice when I need it. My mess saver bowl, and I wish I could get that down so you can see what I'm doing, but let me see what I can do here. And well, basically, I'm gonna set my jar down in this bowl, and I'm gonna get the kraut out of the bucket and put it in here. So I'm gonna try to reset that stand to see if I can get it down. So you can watch me what I'm doing, and I'll be right back. I'm sorry for the view. I've got to get a more wiggly stand or something. That one is just a straight up tripod that holds the phone. I might get something to where I can angle it better. I've tried to prop it up in the back. If I prop it up enough, you can see this. You can't see me. So what I've done is this is the sauerkraut we done the other day where we cut the cabbage up, put the salt and vinegar in it. I tasted it. I started every day, twice a day, for 3 days. And what I'm looking for is there's water. When you move this kraut around, you'll see water in there where it's pulled it out of the cabbage. Okay. And the reason I do that is sometimes if you put limestone water or you put town water or something like that in it, it kind of discolors it. But if you let it do this, that's pure salt water from the cabbage. And I've got a jar sitting here. I'll show you my setup. I got that jar sitting in that, and then I've got the bucket sitting off to the side right below the edge of the bowl. So when I bring it up, if it falls, it'll fall into the bowl. Let me talk on this jar. This jar here looks dirty, but I promise you I've washed it, washed it, washed it. But what it is somebody used limestone water and they put this to a pressure cooker. You can vinegar, if you set this in vinegar for a while, vinegar water, it will take this out. Where this has vinegar, salt, and water in it, it will pull this limestone out of this jar by the time you get done krauting it. It looks bad, but the jar is clean. It's thorough. But I will use it for kraut because the vinegar and the kraut will clean the jar for me. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these tongs, reach down this bucket, and run it over here and let it fall into the jar. Now, today I found a bunch of mayonnaise jars in some jars I bought at a yard sale a while back. And I'm putting the kraut in these mayonnaise jars because it don't have to be heated. It's not going to be pressured or nothing. So, they work real well for that. Now, as I go, I'll take these and I'm going to pack it down. Not overly, but I do want it to be filled in, pretty snug. Okay. Just keep adding to it until you get your jar full. Now, back in the old days, people used crocks and done this, but uh, to find a crock today, they're so expensive, and especially one of about a 5-gallon size, they'll hurt your pocketbook. So I just use these plastic buckets. Now, this is my little stir spoon. I'm going to use it to poke the kraut down in the jar. I'm not overpacking it, but I am putting a little bit of pressure on it so it fills the jar up. And the ladle, I'm going to take it and just push it right down in the top of that where the water is. And I'm going to fill the jar with it. Okay, I just want it to come to the top of the kraut, and it just took that one ladle where it's making its own water. It doesn't take much. Now, I'm going to put a lid on it, but I'm not going to tighten it down. And if it needs more water, the air locks come out of it or bubbles come out of it, I can add more water. But there's one jar. We'll do a couple more, and but now I kind of like this method better because you don't end up with that. You do end up with that smell of the fermenting kraut in your house, but it's like not as bad where it's in the bucket, I guess, is the way to say it. And I do put vinegar in mine. I know a lot of people, don't, but I like that, extra wang. So I do. But when you taste it after 3 days, it'll kind of start telling you what your kraut's going to taste like. And that's when I taste it starting to taste like sauerkraut. That's when I put it in my jars. Now, if you remember, this was 3 cabbage heads, one small one, and one just a little bit bigger than the other two. But I've cooked cabbage, I've fried cabbage, I've done everything can be done with cabbage here lately because it's the cabbage season around here, and I still have, as a guess, 80, 85 cabbages down here in the garden. I will be, sharing those with my family and friends because I just cannot use that much cabbage. But I will not eat it all summer long. I'm not going to just let it go to waste. I will, if I have to crowd every bit of it, keep it from going to waste because you don't know what's coming up. We're in a funny time right now. If we're in election year, and like I do, election years kind of get to be a little funny, we'll call it. And I feel like no matter who gets elected, it probably would not be a bad idea to have some extra food on hand because we know what happened when Mr. Trump was president before, and I feel that'll probably be a repeat. And if you remember, a lot of things got hard to come by. So I ain't telling you to go out and grab every roll of toilet paper in a 20-mile radius, but it wouldn't hurt to have a pack or two, on standby. And if he does get reelected, I don't think the Democrats is going to be happy at all. I think it'll be just, the same screaming demons and stuff that was out there before, showing themselves, the burning and looting and, peaceful protest, as it was called. We take over half a city, peaceful protesting. Uh, this could happen again. And I'm not saying you don't have a right to protest. I'm not. And, if you're unhappy with something, that's what you're supposed to do. Protest. But burning cop cars, tearing into people's business and stuff, that ain't no way to do it. But like I said, there's only one person can get you prepared for what's could come, and that's you. I'm not saying it will, but I'm gonna say right now, I see where the economy was and where it is. Okay, I know I used to go and be able to get a buggy full of groceries for about $200, and now that same buggy of groceries will cost you $350. And you know it just like I do that gas prices are double what they was, and if it continues like that, you'll be hunting these jars. Trust me. People will. It won't get no better because Mr. Biden says that the economy is strong, and it might be, if you own a couple $1 million or something, but I don't, and uh, it don't look strong to me. So I'm trying to prepare to where I won't go hungry, and I'm gonna try to make sure I have a little toilet paper bought up. And I heard it called the best things in the world, freedom seeds. I'm gonna try to have some of them bought up. I'm canning everything I can get my hands on this year. I think right now we're at 20. No, yeah, 21 dozen jars. I've done 21 dozen jars of kraut, apples, potatoes, whatever I can get hold of, that's what I'm putting in jars. And, it's like you can't go wrong uh, putting your stuff up. And, it seems like a lot of work sometimes when you see that there's only, 6 or 8 jars come out of what we do. But you take 6 or 8 jars, 10 of these little projects, that's 60 jars. And, I'm doing this like I've done went out and fed and watered and done everything I need to do outside. And I made a video about the country tea earlier, and now that it's hot, humid, I've come back in the house. Uh, the other day, my air conditioner decided to take a dump, and I got a buddy to give me one. It works. It's not as uh, it doesn't you do as good as the one I had, but as the old saying, every little bit helps. But I appreciate him giving me this air conditioner. I'm gonna try to find me a little bigger one that will cool the house down. This knocks the house down 15 degrees, but it's a lot better than not having anything. But now, ever since I've homesteaded or farmed or whatever, my grandparents would work, and my mom and dad worked on a farm, and basically what we done was, you get out there early in the morning and you start your chore. Well, during the hot part of the day, if you had stuff to do in a shade or in a shed or something like that, or we would wait and feed our chickens in the middle of the day so it wasn't so hot when we was in the field. And we raised tobacco, we raised corn, we raised little everything. Had a big garden. We helped our neighbors in tobacco. That was one thing for sure. We was working, and we if you worked all day and got your chores done, got everything took care of that was needed to be done. We had a basketball goal sitting on the side of the road, and we would sometimes get to play basketball. And we, really looked forward to that with the neighborhood kids. And sometimes the neighborhood kids would come and help us get our chores done so we could go play basketball. But back in, we didn't sit around in the house. We didn't play video games, which I don't think they had video games, you know the truth. I was born before the video game era and computers and telephones and stuff like that. And I'll be honest with you, I think we had more fun back then because we had to get out and get inventful to figure out what we was going to do with ourselves. And we got out of the house just as early as we could. We eat breakfast and took off if we had time. When you got your chores done, we'd go and play, any kind of little thing somebody wanted to play. But I don't hardly think there's a quart in that. I've got a smaller jar here I'm going to use. This here looks like to me like it's a jelly jar, but check your lids. Put your cannon lid on there and see if it fits that rim. Just look around it, and if that rim goes to the rubber on that, take you one of these rings. See if it will screw down tight. This one does, and I found about 20 of these over in that tote that I brought from the people out the road when I bought all these jars. I think it was $15 or something for like 10 dozen jars because the gentleman's mother had passed away. She canned and they didn't. And, he was wanting to move the jars, and he said that he didn't know if many people canned or not, and priced me the jars, and I could not pass them up because, as you know, I can a lot. But it was a good deal. But I always look at your yard sales, estate sales, and I'll go and ask them, did they have any jars or cannon lids, cannon flats? Because you'll find them. I know I bought a pressure cooker, a pressure canner off of a lady that was having a yard sale. If you give me just a second, I'll get this bucket out of your face. I'm trying to put this in the jar to finish this jar up. And I had a friend who I still think the world of them. They're still good friends of mine. And she said that she couldn't find a canner at that time, and that was back when everything was hard to find. And she was telling me that I got a good deal on that canner. Well, I have several canners. I've got two 7 quarts. Then I've got a double stack. It does 14 quarts. I've got a couple of them water bath tubs, and I've got them. I've got a 55-gallon barrel I cut in two, and I can put screens. I got a screen that goes in the bottom of it to get your jar off the bottom. You can put, I think, I don't remember, but there's a pile of jars goes in that bottom of that 55-gallon barrel. Then I got another screen goes on top of that, and you put more jars, another screen, and a cinder block to hold everything. Well, I'll show you when we do the water bath, and there's a process to it. But, I took and give her that canner because I didn't have that much in it. And I think there was a little couple other little pieces with it when I bought it. But what it was I had them dropped off with her because I couldn't get to pick them up, and I bought them over Messenger, and uh, she had that what is it? Some kind of system where it's that thing where you could pay her, and I did, and ended up giving it to that little girl because she's sweet as she could be. Her and her husband are really good people. I may do a video on them now. She makes T-shirts and stuff now. She's got a business doing that, and I'd like to maybe do a video on her doing that. And her husband makes turkey calls, and they're absolutely some of the best turkey calls I've ever seen or heard. And I'll see what they think about maybe me coming up one day and doing a video on that. But out of them jars, out of that crap, and 3 heads of cabbage, we ended up with 4 quarts of kraut, and this little bit here, it's not hardly full, so I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and if I make a pot of soup beans or green beans and whatever, I can add that to the eating list. But 4 quarts of kraut, that's not bad for 3 little heads of cabbage, and a little bit of work. But I'm gonna wash all this stuff up. I'm gonna try to get a video done here in a little bit if everything holds up my back and stuff. uh, I've got apples and I've got some more potatoes that I need to take care of, and I need to go down and see what my potatoes done because the vines are dying down, and it may be time to dig them. I'll look and go from there. This drought is just having a rough time on everybody's garden. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming to watch the video. I'm going to list this as canning up the kraut. Hope I didn't bore you too bad. But y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Be good to each other. And we'll see you on the next video.